Okay, good morning, girls. We are on week 3 of our 6 weeks to success. So I'm excited to be talking about host coaching, which hasn't always been the case, to be perfectly honest with you. Host coaching kind of used to stress me out a little bit. But now a lot of times it depends on how you look at it. And when you look at it from the perspective that we're going to look at it today, I almost think it's easier, especially if after the fact you can go back and see what your show average was and how much your hosts get for free and things like that. It makes it a lot easier to pick up that phone or shoot that email or send that text. Okay, so let me start the screen share here and we will get going. Okay, if you are in a quiet place, definitely unmute because we will be interactive through some of this. If you do have background noise, definitely mute because I want you to be able to still hear us, and hopefully you can jump on when it's time for Q&A. Okay, so week 3, there we go. Yay, congratulations for making it through week 1 and 2, and I'm just excited about this program. I hope you guys are enjoying this program. It's one of those things where honestly, if it's one of those systems like most that you're going to get more out of it when you put more into it. So you basically get what you put in. And that's really true for anything that you do in life, no matter what. I think it's especially true when you own your own business, because sometimes we've talked about this before, you don't have a boss sitting there knowing when you check in and all that. It's up to you. But there's that saying, dreams don't work unless you do, right? Or goals or those kind of things. So for me, accountability is huge. And I hopefully you feel like this group in this class, in this program is helping to give you all that accountability. Okay, so let's talk about what we have learned so far. So anybody want to share about product knowledge? What do we talk about product knowledge? What do we learn about product knowledge? What can product knowledge do to us?
Well, the more product knowledge you have, the better you can articulate the benefits and the features of each product. And one of the key things about product knowledge and which things to sell is sell the bigger ticket items because the smaller ones will sell themselves.
Exactly. That beautifully said. And it's totally true, the difference between features and benefits, because features tell, but benefits sell, right? And I love that. I feel like too, it's going to help you increase your sales and your bookings. So what do we learn about belief?
That's key.
It really is, isn't it? So really, we realize that what we believe will determine what we can and cannot do, because our brain is one that can be retrained. Right? Honestly, I think as women and moms, I think a lot of times we kind of have a tendency to be like, oh, my house is never clean. I can't, and really that's something that I try to stop myself when I get into that. Like, no, I've got this great house and I need a vacuum, but it's clean.
But you can do that.
Right. I mean, it's just one of those things where we have a fantastic host program. We have amazing products that will get even more amazing. I can't wait till Monday. We have a host benefit package that's just amazing. We have an opportunity that's, great for everybody to try. Maybe it's not for everybody career-wise, but it's for everybody to try. So that really helps determine our actions, right? So what did we learn about bookings? We learned different ways to get bookings, right? Where can bookings come from?
Shows or friends and family.
Out and about.
Out and about, yeah. Has anybody had a situation where you were maybe in the brownie aisle, or you were kind of at a ball game, or you were out and about where you were able to talk about what you do, talk about your business?
In the grocery line, I gave a card, but I didn't have a way to get her information. So,
Gotcha. And Laura, I was thinking about, you went to that wine tasting this week and you got 4 people's contact information from that.
But I haven't made contact with any of those contact people. I mean, I've tried.
Well, you have a text conversation with the one guy, and here's the thing: even if only one of those 4 pan out, that's like knowing your number. And I don't know that we've talked about that on this series yet, but everybody will have a different number. And by number, I mean, and you can change what your number is. So maybe 1 in 10 people you talk to will book a party. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. So maybe 1 in 5 people you talk to will actually book a party.
And I think I need to get better. So that's,
the numbers game. So the more you talk, the more you do it, the more success you'll have. And that kind of comes with passion too. So we learned that passion really shines through, and it can completely influence purchases and bookings at your parties. If you're just up there kind of talking about a product, or if you're up there like believing in this product, oh my gosh, this rock saves me time in the kitchen. I use it a couple times a week at least. There are times I'm kind of pulling it out of the dishwasher to use it again the next day. The passion shines through, and that's what people are going to really feed off of, right? Okay, so let's move on here. We are going to discuss host coaching. Host coaching is one of those things that I think a lot of people are afraid of. And so what we want to do through this series is we want to help you realize the impact that host coaching can have to benefit you and your host. Host coaching is actually where you're going to earn your paycheck. A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to go to this party. It's going to be a great demo. But if you haven't done your host coaching and you only have 2 or 3 people at the party, you're still going to do a great demo, and you're going to do the same party whether there's 2 or 3 people or there's 15 or 20 people. But your paycheck's going to be a lot bigger when there's more people, right? So host coaching is really where you earn your paycheck, and your show is just where you pick it up. That's where you're going to kind of reap the rewards from your host coaching, okay? So we are going to, how do I coach my host effectively, right? That's why we're here today. We're going to talk about that. I was just talking to a friend earlier this morning. She's a leader in Ohio, and we were just talking about systems. And sometimes you have to find a system that works for you. Sometimes I'll see a system from somebody, and it's maybe too many words, or it's too many steps, or and here's the thing to realize too. You're going to hear trainings maybe on YouTube or different things, maybe even on PCU. And the nice thing is there's not just one single way to do it. You'll have successful people that do a variety of different things. But I'm going to show you a system today. We're going to talk about the importance of why. And then in your homework, you're going to listen to a Zoom meeting that Megan did. And this is a system that actually Joelle and Megan, I think Amanda too, I think we all kind of train this because it's simple and it's concise and it is effective, okay? So we are going to start. And here's the thing too. We're not going to worry at the party. We're going to talk at the party right now. When you book a party, and you're at an event, you're at a party, and people are excited, and somebody's ready to host, you're not going to worry about the line that's forming to pay, okay? You're not going to take 30 minutes to talk to her, but you are going to take and pull out a host packet, because hopefully you're going to have host packets with you at every party, at least 2, maybe 3. Maybe you have 2 in your bag, and you have a couple out in the car, in case you need more. In your host packet, you're going to have at least 3 catalogs. The reason I always say at least 3, now this is for a live party, okay? If you are booking virtual parties or catalog parties at your show, you might adjust. Like if it's just a catalog party, maybe you stick in a couple extra catalogs. If it's more just a virtual party, maybe you just give her 2. The idea is you want to make sure she knows to take one of the catalogs that she needs to keep at home, because you want her to start building her wish list right away, right? So you're going to have a fridge chart. The fridge chart looks like this. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the next slide, but that's basically just a checklist for her to make sure she does the steps that she needs to do. You're going to also tell them about the rule, about 40 invitations. You're going to want to invite at least 40 people, because half of them will say they can come, and maybe even more than half of them will have a conflict and not be able to come. If you invite 40, good chance you're going to have at least 15 at the party. And then you're going to have 25 people that couldn't come, but you've invited. So surely out of those 25 people, you can get 10 outside orders. We're really shooting for 25 orders. And it's kind of, again, a numbers game, right? From that perspective. And what you want to do is you want to share with her words that she can say when people can't come. You want to share words with her that she can say when she's inviting people, and just how to ask. Oh, sorry, I can't make it. Do you want me to send you the online ordering link? Would you like to see a catalog? So you're going to help her with how to respond. Does that make sense? Any questions? Okay. All right. So let's kind of move on here. This is the fridge chart. So this is probably when I am doing a checkout and somebody is interested in booking a party. And of course, I like to have my dates. Sometimes I don't even bring my full calendar. And I showed this last week. Sometimes I just have a list. And this doesn't look all very, professional necessarily, but sometimes I'm at the last minute and I don't necessarily want to bring my whole full calendar. And I already have shows booked, but I just want to highlight the ones I have still open. So like, for instance, right now I have one February show open, one February date left open. But then I've got some March dates open. So I listed, I have I had 3 dates, so then 2 of them got filled. And then I've got these are my open dates in March. I didn't even list my show dates. Now, if you might want to, if you have a couple March dates, maybe you want to just do 6 parties in March. So maybe you go ahead and list all 6 dates out there and you put the names next to the people that already have a show booked. I think that's a good visual too, because, it's not like, oh, she doesn't have any parties. It shows that you do have some parties. Now, this takes just a couple seconds, because if she picks, like, let's say she picks the 23rd. So I'm going to fill in this little part right here where it says email me by the 20th. Let me know your final head count, confirm which recipe you want to do, and any outside orders. Okay. I'm going to put your party scheduled for Thursday the 23rd at 6:30. I'll arrive at 6 o'clock. We're going to close your show by the 26th. So these are just some highlights. And then I'll put that back in her packet. I'll give her the packet. And let her know I'll be in touch with her via email mostly, and then we'll chat at least once before. Okay. Any questions about the fridge chart? I know I've shared it on our team page and in our 6 weeks, but I'll share it again on the 6 weeks so you'll have it. You don't have to go looking for it. Okay. Now, next is communication. This is one of those things where I think even when you have a system like an email system like I do, sometimes it's hard to not, it's easy, I should say, just to kind of use the email, use text, and not actually pick up the phone and talk to her. Would not recommend that. But you also have to know what your host's best form of communication is. But this is interesting. The biggest complaint of hosts is that they didn't know what to do next. And this came from Tracy Britt Cole. When she came in and took the helm, she really worked at getting feedback from our hosts and our customers, just because we want them to have the best show experience around. So we want the customers to have the best show experience. We want the host to have the best show experience. And if she's feeling kind of like she doesn't know what to do, that's not a good feeling, right? So it's our purpose and our responsibility to coach her. Okay. So if you think about it, developing a good host coaching system is the difference between a mediocre show and a totally fantastic show. Your host must have a clear and concise path to be able to follow through the entire process. And this is really the key to $1,000 show. And we call this working smarter, not harder, right? Because if you're doing the same great show, whether there's 2 or 3 people or 15 or 20 people, you want to be able to get that bigger bang for the buck. Okay. Now this says, would you rather go and have a $200 show where you're making about $60, or would you rather go to $1,000 show where you're making, over a couple hundred? Anybody have a preference? Who says the $1,000 show?
Yeah.
Yay. Right. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to try to get there. Now, here's a little situation. let's say that you give your host this ball, which is the show date, and you say, okay, you're not going to really tell her much. You're not going to really say much. That's where the host is kind of like, what do? I don't know what to do next. It's a little frustration. But if I said, hey, if you were standing at the free throw line, okay, with a blindfold on, and you were challenged to make a basket, would it freak you out a little bit? Right? But now if Shaq comes along, who's trained his whole life pretty much, and is really good at making free throws, and he's going to take that ball out of your hand, and he's going to shoot for you, you think the likelihood of making the basket increases? Right? It does. Shaq is an experienced ball player. He knows what his stuff. He knows what he needs to do. It doesn't hurt that he's like 7'1", and the goal is only 10 feet. So, but still, the idea is he has God-given talents that he uses, and he is going to help you to reach that goal. And so we got to be the Shaq for our hosts. Okay, we know what steps they need to take, and we want to help them to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball from the host's hands, and we're going to slam dunk that thing for her. And we want her to be very, very happy. And then that will help us to be very, very happy. Okay, so here's some just checklists that you want to do. If you can jot these down if you want to. Contact your host weekly through various forms. And I know there's a little, like a time management tip. Like Monday is working on my business. So maybe on Mondays, what I'm going to do is my current hosts, I'm going to make sure I touch base with them at least once that week. And if on Monday, I either send her an email, maybe I shoot her a text if I sent her an email the last time, maybe I shoot her a Facebook message. Obviously, she's probably going to be asking you questions, so you probably will have some communication with her more than once a week, especially as the show gets closer. But you want to at least reach out to her at least once a week. There's a red stamp invitation pictures. And sometimes I don't even use red stamp. I'll just go find on our imagery section of the website, because there's some beautiful pictures. And I'll just use that and just take one of the fun pictures with a beautiful recipe on it and send it to the host. Hey, you can send the following text as a reminder to your guests. And then the next text might have a pretty picture and just say, remember to join me on Thursday the 23rd for a fun paper chip party. Explain the 5, 15, and 5 goal. Inviting 15 or 40 people should get you about 15 that can come. And then collect 5 before the party starts, follow up and collect a few more after the party starts. And there is a little system that you'll be seeing in the homework, and I will upload those links too, that kind of gives the host a little challenge. You don't have to do the challenge. I found it very effective, where it's one of those, if they have $250 before the party starts, then they're going to get a bonus microwave egg cooker, or a toaster oven pan. They're both about $20. You could change it to whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a $20 item, but that $20 it's not going to cost you $20 because you'll put it on her host order. And that's only if she has $250 before the party, and then you have the party, right? And so you'll see that little challenge too. But just explain to them how that works, because they do need to know. Plan the recipes. You want a variety of power tools. We've talked about this before too. Reminders 2 to 3 days before the party. That's where you might send her another reminder. Maybe the first one was kind of like a save the date, depending on how far ahead you have it planned out. Make sure the online link is visible on your Facebook event page. If you're doing Facebook events, include it in every text that you send to the host for her to forward, because you want people to have that easy access to her party link. Okay. And then host coaching actually continues after the party as well. I should kind of go back about that. But, when you are leaving the party, you're going to, hey, here's where we are right now. Now, those people that couldn't come at the very last minute, here's what you want to do. Here's how you can follow up with them. Okay. So what do you say on each communication? If you've mailed the packet, you're going to ask if she's gotten it, right? What other things do you think you can ask your host about when you're touching base with her? And if you're, go ahead, Bethany.
I was just going to say something that I ask is if they need help contacting other people, like if they need help reaching out to guests.
Like understanding who to invite.
Yeah.
So brainstorming with her about who all they can invite. Because sometimes hosts will be kind of like, I don't know, 40 people. So helping them to kind of, you may not have 40 close personal friends, but who do your friends know? Who are their parents? Who are the neighbors that maybe you don't see very often? So you can help them with that for sure. You want to make sure, verify their address if it's one of those. Again, some of these, you're not going to touch base on every single one of these, but how many invitations were we able to hand out? Now, I don't necessarily give my hosts invites, but I do offer them. So, oh shoot, I thought I had them right here. I do. So I do offer them. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll have just like 15 little postcards. And this little post-it says, you can carry a few of these with you to pass out, okay? So I don't necessarily give them the whole pack of 40 unless they want it. And this is something that you can ask them when you're at the party. And I just pull these out of my show bag, okay? Because if they just want a few, I might give them a few. Because sometimes people, they have neighbors, but they may not be connected with their neighbors on Facebook. Or they may not know their neighbor's email address. So sometimes it's good just to hand them a few of these. This is, I think, 10 or 15. So they can put them, pass them around to the neighbors. Or maybe at practice, they don't necessarily know all the mom's email address or even phone number, but they can pass them out this way. So that's something you can ask them. Would you like a few invitations to be able to hand out? And if, you can remind them about the challenge. Hey, I just emailed you the challenge yesterday. Did you see that? Be working on those outside orders. If you need help, if you need ideas of words to say, let me know. What are you most excited about getting for free? Finding out what your host's wish list is going to help you. Because if at the party you can even mention, oh my gosh, Bethany is so excited about getting this double burner grill pan. She's going to be able to get it for $125. When she does that, oh my gosh, it's like less than a cup of coffee at McDonald's if she uses it just once a week for a year. And then after that year, it's more than paid for, and it's a lifetime guarantee. So you can kind of talk about those too. And then, of course, what's one thing that you want to make sure you ask your host at some time in the host coaching process? Bonus question. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? Right?
Yeah.
Did nobody think about that? Now, I say that because I am terrible at this. I don't know why. I think partly because if I don't have like some notes, I just don't think about it. Now I think about it always when I get to her house. My show on Thursday night, Breakout. I think she's coming on Monday, I hope. So Mindy, I was like, as we were in there, I said, Mindy, I said, you are doing so good with your party. I said, you have so many people coming. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? No, I've done things in the past. She did like a shampoo thing. She did like the health and wellness business. And I said, honestly, I think this is much easier. She said, you do? I'm like, yeah, because you're not trying to tell people to change shampoos there's a lot of health and wellness companies out there. I said, we're just inspiring people in the kitchen, teaching them, So I told her, what should I do tonight? And see if it would be something fun that you would like to try. And here's the thing, if I had planted that seed even earlier, she may have, because she wanted some time to think about it. I really honestly, I think she'll try it. But if I had planted that seed in the phone conversation, it would have been a little easier. Now, I will say her party was less than a month away because the party she booked from was on January 19th. So it's not like we have like a month to go. So just keep that in mind, okay? Okay, so how do you track everything? Was everybody's head spinning a little bit when I was talking about all the different things to do? That stresses me out sometimes. And look what we have on PCU. Have you guys seen this before? It's kind of cool, isn't it? My nose is just running. I'm sorry.
I've just seen this.
What was that?
I've just seen this.
Yes, and that's the host information page, which is good as well. The thing I like about, and that one's great too. And Laura and I have those. I have those in my little binder right here. But what I like about this one here is it's just kind of at a glance. So you can take and you can list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can list 8 hosts down the side. You have their email and their phone number right here. And then this is just a little checklist. Party type, like if it's a cooking show, maybe it's a K for a kitchen show, or a C for a catalog show, or a V for a virtual party. And then you're just, when I set up the party date and time, I'm just putting myself a little note so I know when I've done this. So I'm just going to put the little dates in there. Host packet sent. If I have to mail it, I'll do it. If I give it to her at a show, maybe I put given or whatever your little codes are. So this, you may not do every single one of these, but just gives you hey, I've done the first call, or I've sent the first email. I'm going to follow up with a call. So sometimes that's what I do is I'll send that email out first and then I'll follow up. Did you get the email? Have you looked at the recipes yet? Have you sent the invites, that kind of thing? What menu she's going to do, and then follow up after the party. So this kind of goes along with what Laura was showing, that host checklist. And that host checklist that Laura was showing is this one here. And this is the one that, this is kind of a getting to know you, that you're going to be able to add more details. I mean, obviously the address and all that isn't on here. This is just more of like a host coaching tracking method, as it says on the top, where you can take this with you, where you can talk to them. This is the one that you're going to really use maybe to know where she lives and all that, if you are a paper girl. Sometimes people just keep track of this online, like their information and everything is online on the website. Okay, so there you can find it, and there's where you can find it under host coaching under PCU. Okay, so host coaching is a partnership. She is going to get a ton of free and half price and discounted items, and you're going to get a really nice paycheck. So if it's that whole others focused, if you can really focus on helping her get the most free that she could possibly get, and that's your focus, oh my gosh, I want to help you get that rock crock for free and that double burner grill pan for half off and all these other things for free. You focus on what you can get for her, and it's going to come back to you. Okay. So $220, $200, not bad for a night's work, especially when it's just a few hours, right? So this week we really talked about skill was our focus on the 4 pillars. Skill is probably one of the easiest things that you can fix. Okay, this just shows a lot of ways that you can fix skill. Kind of like part of our homework last week was to use the tools, right? Or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Really use the tools in your kitchen. I think that's something we should be doing every week. That's going to help you develop personal stories about them, get your kids involved, get your husband involved. It's going to really help develop stories that even if you're not using a particular product at a party, you can share it. Study the catalog. You take it with you. If you're sitting in the car waiting for kids, go through the catalog. Get to know, okay, the rock crock's kind of in the middle of the book. Not that you have to memorize page numbers, but just to know that. Come to team meetings. So Monday night, spring reveal. It'll be an extra fun one, but all of our team meetings are fun, and we all walk away learning something. Conference, national conference. I put the 2nd through the 5th. The actual first official session starts on the 3rd, but it's always good to get there a little early. And our uplines have a great training too. That's amazing. The tips from the top on Wednesday nights when they offer them. They don't offer them every Wednesday, but I think that series is going to start up again. So anyway, there's lots of things that you can do to add to your skill workshop or skill set. Now here's the homework. The last session we actually had you guys listen to a call that you can find on Pampered Chef University. It is a call from conference last year by Lisa Noto and Michael Yoakley, who I adore, both of them. In fact, we'll see Michael on Monday because he was part of the reveal. So if you guys seen his picture. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to watch the Zoom meeting, and I will post this on the page right when we're done here. But Megan went through, and we did a Zoom training call. So some of you might see some of you if you were on that call, but it's a great refresher, and it kind of just goes through the emails and things that we use. And really, you guys hopefully are using this too, because that's kind of how we've been training host coaching for the last year or two. So anybody have any questions about it? No? Are you guys excited about host coaching? Host coaching is not necessarily something that used to excite me, but I will say, when you have a hostess that's like, I have how much free? And I mean, one of my hosts had over $600 totally free in January with a double free. And I mean, most of my hosts had over $400 in free product in January. And even though, I mean, actually, I think every live show had earned double free. But I'll tell you why. It's not anything special I did at the party. It was something special I did before the party, because I will say, honestly, I was so set on helping them get double free that I did every single host coaching thing that I've been teaching for a while. So just to say, you know, my job is like, just like it is as a parent, you know, I don't want to just say, do what I say. I want to say, do what I do, because I know it works. And so I'm excited for you guys. Thanks for joining our call, and happy Super Bowl. I don't care who wins.